Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to follow a tiny piece of code on its incredible journey, all the way from a developer's keyboard right onto your screen. And trust me, it's a trip that shows exactly how modern software gets made.
I mean, you've got to wonder about this, right? It feels like magic. One day an app is one way, the next day, boom, there's a new button or a cool feature, and everything just works. Well, that's not magic. It's actually the result of some really powerful ideas called DevOps and CI/CD.
But before we dive into the nuts and bolts and follow our code, we really need to understand the problem this whole system was designed to solve. So first up, let's talk about the why. Okay, so in the not-so-distant past, you basically had two teams that were kind of at odds with each other. You had the development team, whose job was to build new stuff and, create change. And then you had the operations team, whose entire job was to keep things stable and prevent change. You can probably imagine this created a ton of friction, and it made releasing new software super slow and incredibly stressful. And this is the key takeaway. DevOps isn't some tool you buy or a specific job title. It's a culture shift. It's all about tearing down those walls between the dev and ops teams so they can work together as one team with the same goals. Get cool stuff to users quickly, but also do it reliably. All right, so now that we've got the backstory, it's time to start our adventure. Let's meet the hero of our story and see the amazing journey it's about to take. So let's just imagine a developer just finished writing a brilliant new feature. It might only be a few lines of code, but don't let that fool you. This little snippet is ready to go on a fully automated adventure to potentially reach millions of people. Now, our hero travels on a system called a CI/CD pipeline. Let's break that down real quick. CI stands for continuous integration. Think of it as a quality check that's always running. Every time a developer adds new code, it's automatically merged and tested with everyone else's. Then you've got CD, or continuous delivery. That takes the code that passed all the CI tests and automatically packages it up, getting it totally ready to be released at a moment's notice. So the whole adventure kicks off the second our developer commits their code. That's basically just a fancy way of saying they save it to a central shared library for code, like Azure repos or GitHub. That one single action is the starting gun that fires off this entire automated process. So the code is committed. Now what? Well, this is where it gets really cool. Our code gets placed onto what is essentially a fully automated high-tech assembly line. Let's see how that works. This assembly line has a name. It's called a pipeline. And it's run by tools like Azure Pipelines or GitHub Actions. You can think of it as a series of automated quality control stations that our little piece of code has to pass through one by one to prove it's ready for the real world. So let's walk through the big steps on this assembly line. First, the pipeline takes the raw code and builds it into an actual working program. Next up is the most important part, the test phase. I'm talking hundreds, maybe thousands of automated tests run in seconds to find any bugs. If a single test fails, the line stops and the code gets sent back. But if it passes everything, it moves to one last stop, a human approval gate, just for a final sanity check before it goes out the door. And this quote just nails the whole philosophy. By making the entire process repeatable, automated, and packed with quality checks, shipping new software stops being this scary late-night emergency. It becomes routine, predictable, almost boring. And in this world, boring is a very, very good thing. Okay, so our code snippet has been built, it's been tested, and it's been approved. It passed everything with flying colors. So where's the final destination? Where does it go now? Once it gets that final thumbs up, the pipeline automatically deploys our code to its new home in the cloud. And that home can be a lot of different things. It might be a platform built for web apps like Azure App Service, a super powerful system for managing lots of little services called Kubernetes, or even a serverless environment like Azure Functions, where the code just runs on demand. So we've seen the why, the what, the how, and the where. But let's zoom out for a second. What does all of this actually get you? What's the point? Let's talk about the three biggest wins. The first, and maybe most obvious win, is just radical speed. I mean, think about it. A process that used to take a team of people a week to do manually can now happen in minutes. For you, the user, that means the bug that was driving you crazy yesterday could literally be fixed and live on your phone by tomorrow. It's that fast. The second win is all about confidence. It leads to what we call fearless releases.
Because every single little change is automatically and rigorously tested, developers don't have that old fear of, oh no, what if my one change breaks the entire system? And that confidence is exactly why your favorite apps can update so often and so reliably.
And finally, the third big win is just ironclad quality. When you catch bugs the moment they're created instead of weeks later right before a big release, the overall stability of the software just goes through the roof. It creates this awesome feedback loop of continuous improvement that you can really feel as a user.
So, we'll end on this thought. The journey of that one tiny code snippet really shows you the incredible power of automation, and it kind of makes you wonder, right? Now that we've taught our software how to build and test itself, what other huge, complex things in our world are just waiting for their own automation revolution?